Well, I'm here in Skopje, the capital of North Macedonia, which is country number 16. So I'm pretty sure that's right. I've been counting the last couple of days, and I think, this will be 16. I'm planning to go to Greece and Turkey still. Those are two other countries I haven't been to on this trip, so that will be I think 18 countries on this trip, so this is number 16. You can probably tell I have trimmed my beard a little bit. I've got a bit of a mow going on, so that's new as well. And I might try and get a haircut after this video if I can find someone to give me one. I have a bit of trepidation about it because the last haircut I got when I was overseas was in Mexico, and the guy didn't speak English and didn't exactly do what I wanted, so I'm not really sure if I want to have another shot at it, but I'm thinking about it anyway. But yeah, today is kind of a rest day. I did arrive here in Skopje last evening with Tim. So we made it on time. The day was a big success, I would say. I'd say we got really lucky in the end. When we left, we tried to leave quite early because we knew we had a big day. It was about 140k all up, with about 1100 meters of elevation, so fairly large day. Although we had spent the night before and also the morning trying to replan it a bit, because Tim's original plan was 1700 meters of elevation. So we managed to replan it so we went around the biggest mountain, but still there was still 1100 meters to do. So we tried to leave pretty early. We ended up getting out of the homestay that we were at about 7:30, and we went pretty much straight to the supermarket to get some breakfast because neither of us had anything. And I just stocked up on as many pastries as I could fit in my bags. I think I got about 6 pastries, plus some yogurt and some juice, and I was pretty locked and loaded for a big day. As we were kind of sitting outside having our breakfast, there was a security guard, and he was being very friendly, and turns out he had lived in Germany for a while, so he spoke a bit of German with Tim. And then because he saw that we were traveling on bikes, he got quite kind of excited, and he called his friend over who was actually a bit of a bike traveler himself. So we had a bit of a chat with these guys for probably 15 minutes, which was really cool because he showed us some pictures of his own bike travels around Kosovo and a bit of North Macedonia as well. And that was a really cool interaction. They're very, very friendly. In general, I found people in Kosovo were very, very, very friendly and really keen to have us tourists there. So that was awesome. And then at this point, the rain really started to come down. That was another big thing we were kind of worried about. Yesterday, the rain was scheduled to pour basically all day. And so we both weren't really looking forward to that, knowing that it was going to be a very long day. So we said goodbye to those guys, and we set out, and it was just pouring with rain, and it was really busy roads, heaps of cars. We were driving riding on the main road basically, and it was the first time I've really regretted not taking my rain pants with me. I left them with Just Pal in Rome. Haven't needed them at all so far until yesterday, and I was really regretting it because I was soaked within about 10 minutes. my feet were drenched, my legs were drenched. Luckily, I had a rain jacket still, so my upper body was still reasonably dry. And then, like I was not sure if I was going to make it the whole day. Like, I didn't have a strict timeline to get to Skopje, like Tim did, and I wasn't super keen to ride in the pouring rain all day. So at this point I was like, I don't know if I'm going to do this. This is pretty shit. And then not too soon after that, the rain kind of peeled back a bit, and it was just sprinkling, and it wasn't really too bad at all. We got to a few roads which were pretty much completely flooded, and we went up on the sidewalk and we were riding at that. And then as we were crossing back onto the main road, there was like a big ditch which was covered in water that we didn't see. And luckily for me, Tim was going first, so he went right into that and fell over, and he got the whole thing on camera because he was recording it. So I'll have to get that recording off him. It was pretty. I was a bit worried that he hurt himself initially, but he was fine. So it was kind of funny. And we continued. The rain, peeled off a bit, and then around 10:30 or so, we decided to top up with an espresso. So we went to a little cafe bar, and it was full of just Kosovians, locals, and they didn't really know what to do with us, but they were very, very friendly. And the guy behind the bar didn't speak English, so someone else translated our order to him. And then the server basically refused to take any payment, so they gave us 2 espressos for free, which was awesome. Just so friendly. And then we sat down and were contemplating the rest of the day, and we were both feeling pretty good because the rain had stopped a bit, and we had some caffeine in our veins now. So we got another espresso actually, so we had 2 each, and we did pay for the second one. And then once again we set off, and both feeling pretty good. Weather was not too bad, and soon we came up to really the only big hill of the day, which was about 500-600 meters of climbing or something, but it wasn't too steep, so honestly it was fine, and it wasn't raining very much. So we got pretty lucky, and we got over that hill, and not too far after that we came to a roundabout, and there were 2 policemen kind of stopping cars, and they waved us down, and I was like, oh no, what are they going to do here? But they were so friendly. They just wanted to know what we were doing and where we were going. And one of them had a nephew, I think it was, who lived in Germany. Like, everyone around this area seems to want to go to Germany, and there's been so many German tourists traveling around as well, which has been kind of funny. But there was one of his nephews had lived in Germany or lives in Germany, so he was really keen to chat to Tim, and he was just overwhelmed, or bewildered perhaps is a better word, that I had come from Australia all the way there, and especially on a bike. And so they ended up giving us 2 energy drinks. I guess they saw that we could use a bit of a boost. So again, I didn't want to accept it, but they were very insistent, so we both Tim and I both chugged our energy drinks in the middle of the roundabout with the cops. And then we set off again, and I think Tim and I were both just like shaking our heads at how nice everyone was in Kosovo. It was it was just a pleasure riding through there. Although the country in itself does seem very poor, and some areas feel a little bit like a zombie apocalypse has been through there, and it never really recovered. But it's one of the poorer countries in Europe, I guess, and the people are really friendly as a result. I think it seems to be a positive correlation between those two. Anyway, where was I? I mean, not much else to say really. It was pretty much a long downhill after that big hill, and talking to the cops, and soon we crossed over the border into Macedonia, which was fairly uneventful. And at this point, Tim kind of took over. He knew exactly where to go because he had been through that border crossing before. And we were on the home stretch, and we kept going. Tim had some issues with his wheels because when he fell over, he basically just slightly knocked his wheels out of true. So they were a little bit crooked. And that was a problem because he has basically stuffed the absolute biggest tires on he can fit. So he's got about 0.5 millimeter of clearance on his chainstay with his rear wheel. And so that was rubbing a little bit, but we managed to fix it just by kind of loosening the wheel a bit and pulling it and then tightening it up again. So it was a little bit shifted in its alignment. And that was enough to give him the half millimeter he needed to keep riding. And we rode along the river into Skopje, which was really nice, into the main square, which has got a huge statue of Alexander the Great, which is quite impressive and quite a cool city. I've spent today kind of wandering around and doing various things. Kind of a rest day, so I won't talk about it too much, but I did sort of get my phone screen fixed, which has been an issue since it got really, really wet in Norway, so like over 2 months ago now. I've been battling with it ever since, and finally decided to try and do something about it today. So I got that kind of fixed, but also in the process I managed to drop the phone that I had borrowed from the repair shop and smash the screen, so I have to pay for that as well, which was really frustrating. But it's a stupid thing that I did. But yeah, I got to see the Skopje fort, which gives a really amazing view of the city. I went to the old bazaar, which is quite cool. They're a little bit touristy and absolutely impossible to find vegetarian food. Yeah, quite a nice city, really. It's been a nice day trying to enjoy not riding too much. But anyway, Tim and I arrived eventually at about 6 o'clock last night, and we had a couple of beers and dinner on the river, which was really nice, and a bit of a celebration for us both for making it, and also for Tim especially for finishing his longest bike trip ever. So thanks for having me along, Tim. It was great to ride together. Had a lot of fun, and I learned a lot. Tim knows his stuff, and hope we can ride again at some point in the future. But while we were having dinner, I noticed that I had a flat tire, which had happened at some point between arriving and eating dinner, which was really frustrating. So I had to fix that, and then I saw pretty quickly the problem was, or maybe Tim saw it, that there was a bunch of thorns stuck in my tire, and then Tim found some in his tires, and then I found some in my rear tire as well. So the rear tire was also going flat, so I pumped that up really quickly. Luckily there was a bike shop around the corner which was still open, so I said quickly goodbye to Tim and then rushed quickly to the bike shop, and the bike shop was very, very helpful. Those guys were great, and I got 2 new tubes. They replaced the one in the rear wheel because it had at least 3 holes in it from the thorns, and they knew exactly where I got the thorns as well, because apparently it's a big issue. And actually one more, I got to wrap this up, but one more thing which was just crazy, because when I was getting my bike fixed at the shop, another German guy came in, and he had thorns in his tubes as well from the exact same spot. So he wanted a new tube, and him and I exchanged a few words, and then as he was leaving, he wished me fair travels and all that. and he left. And then shortly after that, I rode back to my accommodation that I had booked, and I was like, just like settling in, washing off all the sweat from the day. And then the door opens, and I turn around, and it's the exact same German guy that I saw at the bike shop. And him and his girlfriend had been staying at that place. It was kind of a shared apartment for the last like 2-3 days. So, absolute crazy coincidence. We just managed to bump into each other again, this random encounter. What are the chances that we would see each other at the bike shop, and then again we'd end up staying at the same place? Like, it was just unbelievable, really. You can't make that stuff up. But him and his girlfriend are traveling around in their car, so they were keen to hear about what it's like to travel on a bike. And they're actually heading to Turkey as well. So this morning I actually got their number, and maybe I'll see them in Turkey, because they'll be there in about a month, which is probably about when I'll be there. So that would be funny if I saw them again. Basically after that I went to sleep. That was it. That was the end of the day. It was a big day, about 145 Ks. But I felt good. It may have been my longest day on the bike ever. I'm not sure. But honestly, I felt pretty good at the end. My legs felt like they could do some more. So that's a good sign. And today's just been a rest day. So I'll continue tomorrow back towards Albania, and then down into Greece after that. That's the plan. So I'll leave it at that, and I wish you farewell.